Hey, welcome to another Businessology lesson. And today we're going to be talking about how do you track and know your team's capacity. And I will say this is very complicated to do. There's a lot that goes into it. One way we are able to do that is if our team, our leadership team, or me and my partner can stay close to our team. We say that a lot to the people we lead. And so one thing you have to do is make sure you stay close to your team. When you're close to them, you can see when they're struggling. And it's interesting when you're trying to assess capacity with a professional team, they often sometimes don't know they're struggling. They don't know they're overwhelmed. Sometimes they feel overwhelmed when actually the work is not creating the overwhelm. So a lot of things can be confusing to a professional when it's just them doing their work. So a lot of times you need this third-party leader to stay close to the team to help them know more about their capacity. So that it's a hard thing to know because a lot of times as people, we say to the people that lead us, we say, I feel overwhelmed. And now we know as leaders to try to qualify and go, why? What does that mean? What's going on in your life? And we start to think through the work as compared to, their commitment of time to the work. And so you have to really stay close to a team member to know the realities of a team member's capacity. So the team member can know some parts of that capacity, and then the leader as a third-party objective person can add to that. So what you need is a collaborative trust between your team member and the leaders. That is key, right? Because if a team member says, I'm overwhelmed, so the decision can be that there's too much work on my plate. When what we can do is we can say, well, actually, it looks like you're not prioritizing your work correctly. So you're trying to do too much in a shorter span of time that we intended you to do over a month's time. So that's where the leader brings clarity to that team member's work. But there's got to be trust. The team member's got to be ready to listen and go, okay, help me define what overwhelm feels for me with my level of work. And then, of course, the trust has to go to the leaders as well. We've got to listen to the team member and go, what are they feeling in their work that we're unaware of? So those are some things we care about. Be really close to your team so you can really see the truth of the overwhelm or the mismatch and misuse of capacity. Another one is to be super clear. Basically by that, we mean when a leader gives work to a professional team, or just, creative people, they have to know the clarity of what they're supposed to be doing. If the scope is undefined or if the timelines particularly are undefined, then a team member can't appropriately use or apply their capacity to the right different levels of work they're supposed to be doing. So when a professional team member comes up to you and their role is growing, the firm is growing, you as the leader, you're pushing more work into the team. You want the team's capacity full, but that pushing often creates situations where a team can come to you and say, I'm overwhelmed. My work is too much. And that happens periodically. And it's okay. That's a time to stop and the leader and the team member really work on the realities of what exactly is happening with their capacity. So a lot of times what we'll do is if a team member says, I'm overwhelmed, I have too much work, and we kind of know their time commitment is about 30 to 35 hours a week or something like that, and they're supposed to be full-time. So the first thing we go is, okay, that probably couldn't be true if you don't work full-time yet. So we try to figure out what actually is going on. Why do they feel that way? And so we'll actually have them plan their whole week out. Sometimes we do this with people we coach too, like firm entrepreneurs that are overwhelmed. We'll ask them to plan out their whole week and, try to lay out all the things you're supposed to do. Just put it down on a calendar and just see how much time it fills up. So a lot of times a team member can feel overwhelmed if they don't have a calendar that they're managing. That is, there's a lot of white space on their calendar. And so they just get to do whatever they want. They'll often work in an undefined, unstructured, unprioritized way. And they'll roll around through their calendar and between different unbatched work. And then they become very inefficient. And so a lot of inefficiencies with a full plate creates an overwhelm. And so what you're trying to do is really lock into reality. So we tell that team member, lay out your whole calendar, what you think you're supposed to do every single week. Put some blocks of how many hours each task you think would take you, and let's look at it. And then sometimes as the leaders, we're like, wow, you do have 55 hours of work rolling through your role every single week. We got to change something. But a lot of times the team member also didn't understand. Well, maybe I'm focusing too much on this task. And we say, why don't you cut that task in half? And we can really start to work on the clarity of what they are doing, and we guide them based upon what we think they should be doing instead of how they're doing it. And that kind of work creates more efficiency, creates more focuses, and then you can come into more alignment as to how the team member feels about their work, and then the reality of what the leader has given them to complete.